Hey everybody, welcome to Perfectly Average EDC, and today I'm going to be doing a bag review on the Osprey Flapjack Courier. Alright, so some quick specs on this bag before we get started on the features and some of the things I like and don't like about this bag. It is approximately 15 inches tall by 18 inches wide by about 10 inches deep, and it weighs just under 2 pounds, and its interior volume or overall volume is right around 20 liters. The bag has a rather nice curved shoulder pad, quick adjust length here on the side, the cams open and closed, and a waist stabilization strap here on the back. One of the things this bag doesn't have is a quick access zipper right along the top edge like some of the other bags that you see for traveling. The fabric this bag is made out of is about 600 denier, kind of a polyspun. I'm not sure if it's actually branded Cordura, but it's actually a really nice material that's relatively well structured. The handle along the top edge of the pack is very well engineered. It's really comfortable to carry. When you pick the bag up when it's fully loaded, some bags like this have a tendency to want to cam or roll in your hands, but this one actually carries relatively straight up and down, so this bottom edge right here as you're walking along isn't rubbing against your pants or your leg or anything. There is a pocket along the very top here. It's hidden under the hand strap or the hand grip, and it is lined in orange just like the rest of the bag, and is actually relatively deep. I can fit basically my whole hand in there. On this side of the bag right here, there is a lined water bottle pocket. It's kind of tucked away. I actually really like the design of this. It's got kind of a rubberized material on the inside, and on the outside it's actually gusseted, so that way a larger water bottle can fit inside it and it has room to expand. So basically you can use something like a hydro flask like this, which is long and narrow. It'll fit in there just fine, and it won't peek out of the bag very much at all, which is nice. You could do something a little larger, like one of these liquid hardware bottles. This thing will also fit in there. It's a little larger, but not quite as tall, so it actually hides away in there pretty well when you load it. And it will also fit one of the larger hydro flasks. This is one of the 32-ounce ones. These are pretty large, about the size of an Nalgene bottle. And as you can see, this will fit in there as well. And if you close up the bag and carry it along, you'll see that it also just disappears in there pretty easily. So this is actually one of my favorite things about the bag, is you can fit just about anything you want in here. Alright, let's move on to the interior and see what's in there. The flap is secured by two nice pieces of Velcro that also have large areas right here, so you can set the Velcro wherever you need it to retain the strap. And on the bottom here, we do have a little reflective band that helps retain the strap right there for extra added visibility. Now we're going to move on to the inside of the pack. Now you can see here that it's lined in this bright orange, like hunter orange, safety orange interior, which makes visibility really, really easy. Anything you dump in this bag is going to be easy to pick out, provided it's not also hunter orange or safety orange or whatever you want to call it. So we do have all of this. There is the main part of the compartment, which has got this really nice liner on it. It's relatively rectangular. It's pretty flat on the bottom here, and relatively squared off, so it's actually easy to put a lot of things in here. Along the back there is a retention strap. I really dig this little logo right here. Actually, that's a nice touch, which is Velcroed and retains the main laptop compartment, this secondary compartment right here, and then on the front of all that you also have like a zippered document pouch right here. So this compartment right here is actually large enough to hold a 15-inch laptop. I do not have a 15-inch laptop. My work laptop is actually a 13-inch MacBook Pro. And so this has no problem sliding down into this main laptop sleeve, which is actually nicely padded. And the back of the bag is also relatively rigid, so it actually provides a nice structure. This secondary pocket right here is, you can put a ledger-sized, or a letter-sized notepad in here, or a spiral of some sort if you're using it for school. You could easily put 2 or 3 of those in here. For myself, I actually put my old iPad. This isn't actually an iPad 2, but since the form factor has stayed pretty much the same for this for all these years up until the modern ones, this actually slides into this pocket and disappears, so no issues there. Now the main compartment of this bag can actually hold quite a bit of stuff. So when I go about my business, I keep a couple of things in my bag all the time. I typically like to bring a book. This is actually a little larger than I typically bring with me, but this is a fantastic series of short stories based on the writings of H.P. Lovecraft. And Charles Stross has a short story in here called A Colder War. And if you're into weird fiction and you're like me and you grew up during the tail end of the Cold War, that is an awesome short story. So I highly recommend this. This is a lot of fun, especially if you work in a tough job where you're working 10, 12 hours a day. It's a lot of mental fatigue. Reading something like this sometimes is just what you need to take a break and get your mind right as you work on the next part of your project. I do like to bring my lunch with me, and so I actually have a little bento box. Now some bento boxes are more rectangular or squared off, and they're flat, and so they'd want to sit in the bag like this. But a lot of these bento boxes, the seal around the edge is not that great. And if you're like me and you love teriyaki chicken or anything like that, chicken katsu, oh my god, sign me up. What you'll run into is you'll get a little bit of leakage around the edges here. And so I picked up this bento box, and I really like it because in a messenger bag like this, it sits upright on its bottom. You don't tip it down onto its edge. So there's a lot lower chance of leaking. Because I do graphic design and digital print, a lot of what I do also requires using some tools. And I keep this little ReadyWares supply pouch with a couple of tools in it, like a multi-tool, items like that, some screwdrivers, things of that nature. I keep them in this, and then that way, if I have to leave my desk and go work on a device to get it up and running, I can just take this with me. And so this goes in this front pocket right here, which is also lined with orange, and this drops in there with no problems, just like that. If I do find myself going to a meeting and I don't have my iPad with me, I typically like to take physical notes, and so what I use is a little notebook like this. I don't recommend bringing this to a meeting where not a lot of people know you, or because obviously this could be a problem, but this is one of my favorite notebooks. It's unlined, it's white, it's easy to doodle on, it's made of nice cardstock. You can get these at Violent Little Machine Shop. And so when I'm just doing internal meetings, I typically bring this along, and it's good for a laugh. And if people are stressed out, sometimes this helps. Now we'll move on to the elements of my carry that go in this front pouch right here, this organizational pouch. It's got a nice kind of circular zipper on it right here. It's got a little stretchy pocket here with some mesh on it, 3 little organizational pockets, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 pen pockets here. The furthest one out is larger than the other 3, so you can fit like maybe some solution to wash glasses or a cell phone screen, and a little spray bottle can go right in there, and you'll be good to go. You can see here that I typically just keep a pen and a highlighter with me. But in this pouch here, which also has a key keeper, so typically my keys will go right here like that when I don't need them, and tuck them down in there like that. Inside of this little stretchy pouch right here, I also keep my power bank, which is made by Rav Power, and I think this is a 16,700 milliamp hour battery bank, which I keep a iPhone lightning cable charger and an adapter for my Apple Pencil, and then my Apple Watch as well. So I keep all that stuff in here. Slides down in, and you're good to go. If you know you're in for a really rough meeting, also, little flask, this will also fit in here, and if you won't tell anyone, I won't. So this is basically how I load up this pack. It's what the heck? On this side we have the strap adjust, which is actually pretty well made. It's just got a clamp here. You can pull the strap through, and then when you have it to the right length, cinch it back down again. And this actually, I've never had this come loose. It's actually pretty well engineered. I really like it. Underneath this buckle is one more pocket that's located on the side here. It's actually also pretty decently sized. I can stick my whole hand in there. The outside of the pocket has this rubberized lining on it, and then the interior has the safety orange on it. Again, I replaced the zipper pull on this with a rubberized one. This works so much better. I have been using this pack almost daily since I got it in December of 2017. So I've been using this bag about 7 months now. I really like the overall layout of it. I like all the interior pockets and organizational abilities. I'm the sort of guy that likes to have everything neat and tidy inside his bag, and this bag checks a lot of those for me. I don't have to have additional organizers inside this bag to keep all my stuff at hand. So that's really, really nice. The material here has a DWR coating on it from the factory. No DWR coating lasts forever, and so I actually coat all my bags like this that aren't like laminate material. I coat them all in Nick Wax. The strap on this bag is really nice. It's flexible. I like this pad. This little rubberized piece here really kind of keeps it locked into your shoulder, which I really like. Only a few bits of these rubberized parts of this pad have come off yet, so after 6 months, I'm actually pretty impressed. Alright, so some of the things I don't like about this bag. I really don't like the zipper pulls they came with that this bag came with, so I had to replace all of those. That was kind of irritating. This is not the pocket under this handle right here. I'm 50-50 on it. Sometimes it's irritating, sometimes I don't mind it. And because it's kind of facing your body when you're carrying it, if you want to put a wallet, cell phone, something like that in this pocket, you'd probably be just fine. But if you put anything else in there that you need to get at regularly, it's kind of a pain. And if you have this flap flipped all the way open, this thing is inaccessible. So, not too bad. One of the things that is my biggest gripe about this bag is the way that this area right here is designed. If you leave this bag up against your body and you need to access something inside the main compartment, this buckle right here, as you reach over, is kind of hidden. And so you have to kind of fumble for it very slightly to get access to it. And because this flap here is reinforced, which is actually nice for shape and for giving it a little bit of strength when you really crank down on carrying a lot of stuff, it also means that this buckle is a little bit of a challenge. So, you know, I wish that they had stayed with the older style of Flapjack where they had two buckles on either side that were external that you could just squeeze and then open the thing up. I get that they did this for aesthetic reasons and probably it makes it a little easier to manufacture, but this design right here, it really stinks, and it's not that easy to get into the bag when you're wearing it because of this right here. So the last thing that I find irritating about this bag is the fact that unless this bag is packed all the way to the gills, this bag wants to roll over onto its face. And that's kind of irritating when you throw the bag down next to you, like in a coffee shop or something, because you're doing work remotely. This bag, if it's not packed all the way to the gills, does this. And if you've ever been in a coffee shop, whatever's on the floor of that coffee shop will end up on the front of your bag. And I find that really irritating. I have some Timbuktu bags from a number of years ago, and while they don't have as much structure as this bag with this rigid back piece and this nice flap, when I put them down on the ground or on the seat next to me or wherever I am, they do not have the tendency to roll forward like this. And that's also something I find irritating, especially if you're not paying attention and you put it down next to you and this thing rolls into an aisle. You know, you're going to have people tripping over it if they're not paying attention, which most of them are. It just becomes kind of a pain. The last thing I find irritating is, while I really like this cam buckle, this extra strap here, when you're wearing this, covers up this pouch over here. I really wish that they had done something a little different, maybe some sort of built-in Velcro retention to wind this up and keep it out of the way like this. So that way this side pocket here can be accessed a lot more easily. So this is kind of a pain. It's a pain to access this pocket no matter what you're doing with this strap because of the way this thing is designed. And so whenever I load this pouch right here up with things, I try to make sure that they're not things I'm going to need very often. Otherwise, this bag is really, really nice. And if you're the sort of person who can kind of deal with some of these small faults, this bag is absolutely fantastic. It's easily as well made as any Chrome or Timbuktu bag, and the feature set on it is really, really nice. This is definitely one of those bags that I don't really see myself selling off. I'm going to keep this in rotation. I appreciate you watching this video. Thanks for taking the time and exploring this bag with me, and I'll talk to you guys a little later on. Malama Pono.